Are we off?
Yes, we're live, yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Right. Welcome to the Toffee Blue, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the instant match reaction to Everton 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. I'm joined by Paul McAllister. We're looking back on a very professional Everton performance. Absolute far cry from the Rotherham game where we made heavy weather of it. I was fearful for this one, but my fears were allayed very quickly in this game. I thought we dealt with it very professionally throughout, and 3 goals, a couple of outings for the kids as well late on. It was an all round very good Everton display. Paul, what did you make of it?
It was exactly what I wanted. Comfortable, no dramatic instances, no injuries. A couple of players who needed goals got goals. Everyone was playing with a smile on their face. It didn't look like anybody was trying things and it wasn't happening for them, where you think, oh, I hope he doesn't play like that against Leicester. It was a sparkling performance all round, and then the kids getting on at the ends just put a nice little extra cherry on the top. So, yeah, more than happy with that.
Yeah, very happy. I mean, Guillermo Garcia's got straight on and put how many chances of goal did James create tonight? I mean, we've got to start with James. I mean, he was absolutely unbelievable. He was just playing around today, wasn't he? He was just having a laugh.
Yeah, he was sparkling, wasn't he? He looked every bit like a Galactico playing against players who are probably going to tell the grandkids that they shared a pitch with him. He was just brilliant. I know he wasn't great in the last game against Rotherham, but if he can put in performances like that or anything close to that in the second half of the season, then we could be on for something really, really special. I just
Yeah,
think he's an amazing player, and all those people who were saying he's washed up and he wouldn't thrive in English football, they just look stupid now. He looks every bit
yeah.
the player that he looked 6 years ago when he first broke onto the world scene.
Yeah, he was absolutely unbelievable. Some real moments of magic for him today. Probably, I think this is the first time. I mean, we've seen him play excellently since he's come in, but this is the first time we saw him really like he played like he just controlled the entire game, and he saw little tricks and flicks. You saw him just really put a performance in that you don't see very often. He proved he was he was very much in the belief that he was a class above. Like not enough players do that, I don't think. And he showed it messing around a little bit, and while still being professional as well, and like creating a lot of chances. It's got 2 of the assists today from corners. No complaints at all.
No, he wasn't reckless at all on the ball. He didn't get caught dawdling, and he didn't try bits of skill in areas that he had no business doing it. As you said, he just kept everything professional, and he had the air about him. He had the air of, yeah, I know I'm a great player, and I'm going to prove to everybody here that I'm a great player and that I'm the best player at this club. Brilliant. I hope he can play like that against Leicester, because it will be a great game. A couple of other players I thought did really well. I thought Takore was immense. We are going to miss him in the week, but there's nothing we can do about that. But he looks like another absolutely brilliant signing for us. Richarlison, I know he pulled a few faces, had a few offsides, and some things didn't go for him, but he got the goal. That's what matters. And I think overall his performance was a solid 8 out of 10 for me. I'm happy with that. And as I said, getting on the score sheet will hopefully raise his confidence and get him hungry. Dominic Calvert-Lewin looked like the player who was banging goals in for fun in the first few months of the season. He
All the very Calvert-Lewin goal as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That a very Calvert-Lewin close range finish, little tap in, poacher's goal. That's great to see. He did about an hour, didn't he, before we brought him off? So hopefully that's him still fresh for midweek. And Godfrey, I'm glad he played, because he's probably going to come out the side now that Dini's back fit, which is harsh on him. But Godfrey just put on the afterburners so many times and just looks like he could be. Again, how could you choose which signing that we picked up in the summer was the best one? They've all been immense since coming in. So every player to a man basically played as good or not, if not better than we could have asked them to.
Yeah, they were all excellent, I thought, today. I mean, there was hardly a foot put wrong by anyone. I think we touched on Richarlison. I think I was concerned about Richarlison. I thought his body language looked really low in the first half. You could tell his confidence was low, and it was really frustrating to see. He wasn't beating any players or anything. And then I think you saw the difference in him. Straight after he scored the goal, you just seen him come to life again. Like at the click of a finger. It was unbelievable. The difference that it made to him.
First half, I don't think he was sulking as much, or I just think he was getting a bit annoyed because he had that amazing eye of a needle pass from Rodriguez and finished really well as well, and then it got took off him for the offside. He was probably really annoyed at himself for that because he didn't need to be offside. He only had to check his run. And there were a couple of times where the referee went against him in 50-50s, and I saw him a couple of times mouthing off saying whatever it is, a swear word type thing, at a bit of a decision. So
wound up and
I think the red mist was very slowly coming down, but thankfully he didn't do anything stupid. He managed to rein it back in and got his goal. And as you said, as soon as that header at the back of the net, it just seemed like all the frustration, all the
shoulders, I think.
Yeah, he just eased up and he started to enjoy himself. And I think that's why he looked annoyed when he was coming back off, because he was probably wanting to play the full 90. But Carlo knows best. Carlo's going to play him against Leicester. Wants to manage his minutes. So I'm really happy that Richarlison's got on the score sheet and looks like he's really hungry to keep doing better.
Yeah, that's really good to see as well. I mean, also a few little minutes here and there. Anthony Gordon got on and maybe didn't see much of him, to be honest, but he got on, got some minutes. But Thierry Small and Tyler Onyango, I think we all wanted to see them when we saw the names on the bench. They both got some minutes under the belt, which was great to see. Thierry Small now, of course, the youngest ever Everton player, and a far more deserving player to own it than Jose Baxter. I think we can all agree.
Yeah, I don't like that fella one bit, but I'm not going to go into it. This video's not about him. I was talking with Stephen in the live stream before the game started that if everything was going to plan and we had the subs to use, then I'd like to see the youngsters come on and get a little cameo just to experience it, getting them coming on at Goodison under the lights in a game that they can just have a smile on their face. They're not under any pressure, and it was great. And that's the young lad's got a record for himself now. Don't think we'll be seeing much of them before now the end of the season, most likely. But they've had a little taste. Back to the under 23s now, and it gives them something to aim for. They know what it's like to be in the first team, experience it. They think, right, I need to play out my skin, whether I'm going to go out on loan or stay with the youth setup. This is what
I know the possibilities are now.
Yeah,
and I think
they've experienced
we can't state that, by the way. I think we can't state that they know what the possibilities there, because I don't think enough of our young players believed that there was recently. I don't think enough of our players have been getting through to the first team, and I don't think there's really been much of an opening for them. Do you not think?
No, I agree. Most of them have just been banging their head against the glass ceiling. No matter what they do at the youth level, they were just never going to really, unless absolute needs must, they were never really going to get a sniff in the first team. But now that it's not just the two lads who came on, even their teammates are going to think, right, if those two can get in, then why can't I?
I want to get in, yeah.
I want to experience that. I want to come on in the FA Cup. I want to be playing with Richarlison. I want to be training with Rodriguez in the days up to it. I want to be hopefully setting records for the youngest player to play for the club. It's just great. I got everything we wanted out of that game. We got players.
Really did.
Got a clean sheet, no injuries, nothing stupid from any of the players that's wound any fans up. No, what was I going to say? No shenanigans type thing. No players got sent off. It was an all-round really good night. Got the goals we needed, got the clean sheet, got the good performances that we wanted to see, got the youngsters getting the little cameo at the end, so everyone can have a big smile on the face over that now and just look forward to Wednesday. Yeah,
Wednesday's going to be an interesting one against Leicester. Before we carry on looking into that as well, we'll just go through a few of the comments. We've got Alejandro Villamil. James looked the class act above the rest. What an absolute gem. Plenty of love for James Rodriguez. Andres Henao. James is pure magic. James Rodriguez is terribly good.
Good pronunciation, by the way. I couldn't have managed that.
Nice one. Appreciate that. Gracias. And a little interesting one from the game in Toffee there. Recognition for Andre Gomez. He was so much better today. Of course, he got the initial assist for Dominic Calvert-Lewin's opener. And he looked all right, didn't he?
Yeah, it was the type of game for him. I was saying it beforehand. Against a physical side like that, then he was more likely to thrive than probably Davis would have, because they weren't going to swarm all over him like Rotherham did. They weren't pressing. They just sat back a lot more. So he got a few yards of space in the centre of the pitch so he could get his head up and pick a pass and link up with people, and wasn't having to deal with any little niggles, little kicks here and there. So it was just the type of game he thrives in. Just unfortunately, not many teams in the Premier League are going to play like Sheffield are. They're not going to just be sitting in deep and not looking to tackle him the minute he's on the ball. But he can only beat what's in front of him. So fair play to Gomez. Would he play again against Leicester? I would personally bring Davis back in. I think he's better suited. But if Gomez keeps his place, then I don't think there's any reason to complain, really. I think a performance like that... Yeah, performance like that merits keeping your name in the team for the next game, for me. Anyway.
But again, I'll just let Carlo make that decision because you'll know better than I do, I'll be honest. Cool shout. We could use the squads we did today against Leicester with Davis or someone in for Decore. Let's not forget that Decore's missing, so it could end up actually being Davis and Gomez, which isn't ideal, but that is a possibility as well.
Yeah, I forgot that, to be honest. Well, it was in the back of my mind, but it looks like it is going to be Gomez and Davis, or maybe Sigurdsson in there as a middle three. Don't know, but Gomez played well, and it's not often you get to say that these days, so you can't really be having a go at him. The only player who for me came on and didn't really do much. I didn't know whether I should really say it or not, because it just sounds like I'm just piling on the fella and looking for any reason to slag him off. It was Bernard. He came on and nearly gave away the penalty and basically went down a few blind alleys. But maybe I'm just being too fussy because the game was won.
Apart from that, I don't think he did much wrong either, to be honest.
No, you're right, yeah.
I mean, I'd still want to like to see him sold to someone by the end of the window, which I'm not too sure will be the case, but I'm not going to like point fingers at him either because I don't think he was necessarily bad. I don't think there was really any bad performances, and let's be honest, as Everton fans are coming out of their games, not often we can say that. So I'm relatively pleased.
I know he had a relatively quiet night, but Olsen, I thought, acquitted himself really
very
well.
Solid,
like he's been doing, just solid as a rock. No dramatics. I know he took a bit of a barge from that yard dog Patterson, but
oh my god, have you seen the moustache on him?
Yeah, he's in another life, he's a bricklayer, isn't he? Just a bricklayer who eats a full English for his breakfast every day. He did. Olsen just claimed everything, made one good save in the first half from a long-range effort. All the defenders looked really calm and composed with him behind them. So I really like Olsen, and I was talking in the pre-match live stream that if I'm more than happy for him, I'm more than happy for us based on what we've seen so far to go and bring him in permanently, get him signed, because I think he's a really good player. And even if he's not going to come in and be the long-term number one, he's undoubtedly having a positive effect on Jordan Pickford, because since Pickford got dropped for that Newcastle game and Olsen came in and played okay, since Pickford played the game after that, he's been really, really good. Probably Pickford's best run of form.
Really has.
Yeah. Pickford's in his best run of form now than he has been since that initial 3 or 4 months when he first arrived, yeah. So, there's just so many things to be positive about based on that game.
Yeah, certainly is. Going back, I'm just going to, of course, look through a few of the comments. Thanks, guys, for getting involved as well and bringing your comments to us. Cam, the first time, actually, since Burnley on the 5th of December, when James, DTL and Richarlison have all started together, which is testament to how well we've done in the period since then with the injuries, really. We've done very well, but it's good to have those three back and playing together because it shows in the way that we knock the ball around. I think it's you really see our rhythm a lot more when them three are all playing.
Yeah, that front three is a top 4 front three. It's just we haven't got a top 4 midfield at the moment, at least not unless everyone's absolutely bang at it and fit. But we play all three. Those three stay injury free between now and the end of the season. Then there's no reason why we can't finish in the top 6. I don't think.
certainly. The game in Toffee again, fair dues. I think Bernard wasn't the worst. I think the honest choice was bring out John Joe Kenny on, which I'll be honest, at the time, I thought I was absolutely fuming when John Joe Kenny came because I thought that was Thierry Small's opportunity gone down the gutter. But so it turned out they both got on and both played on the left flank, which was never expecting to see. It was an interesting little setup by the end of the game to see where players were playing and what positions they were taking up.
Yeah, when Kenny came on and he went on at left back, I did Carlo's eyebrow. Thought, oh, what's the idea there? But I can only imagine the reason he's done it is just to give the lad a little run out, let him feel involved some minutes. But if Kenny was part of any sort of long-term picture, I think he'd have started that game or started the game before against Rotherham, and he never. I think he's just come on when the game's won because Carlo sort of half feels sorry for him, but he's not used him much, and maybe he's not going to leave this window because there's no offer on the table. So rather than the lad just sitting on the bench every single game between now and the end of the season, just when you get the opportunities to just throw him on and let him have a run around because the game's won, why not?
Yeah, certainly. I think we should be giving them, like, if the opportunity arises where we've managed games professionally and we've got time to give these players minutes. All the top teams do this with the fringe players. So I think Carlo's going about it the right way, to be honest. Joe Philly Bowes says, I think you're being too cynical on the team tonight. We played fantastic. I know it's Sheffield Wednesday, but we were great. I thought, yeah, we were pretty decent for the whole game. I wouldn't
thought
say
it was great, yeah. Didn't say pretty much everyone had played well.
Play through the rest of the comments. We've got lots of love for James. It's either James or it's myself. I'm not too sure. Judging by the Colombian flags, I'll say it's James. Sandra De La Cruz, Ulco Bono. I love Colombian players. There's a bit of a trend emerging here. You'll be shocked to know. Jerry as well gets a mention. And Crack James from Sandra De La Cruz. Definitely James' biggest fan here. James Crack. Unbelievable. Some of these comments are absolutely class. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
As far as I'm concerned, the sun shines out of his crack.
There you go, yeah. Thierry Small is so fast. We never really got to see how fast he is. We didn't really get enough time to see how much he can use his pace because he didn't really get much involved. I'd like to have seen Small come on when Kenny come on just to get a bit more minutes and see what he's all about. But Carlo's decision's final at the end of the day. Davis shouldn't play against Leicester. Gomez should have it. What's your take on that one, Paul? I know we were on him before.
Well, he's probably going to have to because we don't have Doucouré. But if Doucouré was available, I would personally play Davis over Gomez for that one. I've said it earlier in this video and in other videos. I just think he moves the ball faster than Gomez does. And against a team like Leicester, you're going to have to keep them moving and keep them chasing. Gomez is not going to get enough time to get his head up against Leicester like he was there, and Leicester are not going to sit in and look, and he's not going to be able to look in front of them and pick a pass. So he did well tonight, Gomez. If he keeps his place in the team based on merit, then there's nothing to argue about. But I think Davis is probably going to. I'm
wary about Gomez from a tactical standpoint for the Leicester game.
I am.
Yeah. Who do you think should play in the back against Leicester? Mina and Keane or Mina and Holgate? Personally, I'd say Cornelius, Mina and Keane. I think that's been the solid Premier League pairing. They've not done too much wrong at the back lately, so I think we should stick with it. Paul, what do you think, mate?
Yeah, I'd go with Mina and Keane. If Vardy was fit, which I believe he's not going to play, I would probably put Holgate and Keane because I do think you're going to need some pace to stop Vardy chasing him behind. But if he's injured, like Brendan Rodgers said he was, then I think you can't go wrong with Keane and Mina. Just let them win all the headers, clear the lines, and just be a strong pair at the back who stop Leicester from winning any balls in the area.
Yeah, I mean, William Hetherington agreed. Keane has to start. He's been class. Which, to be fair, he has. I think he's in line, I think, to possibly be player of the season if it carries on like this. He's been unbelievable this season.
He's been the best player of our season who wasn't signed in the summer by far.
definitely, yeah. I think that's one
apart
thing.
from DCL, but yeah, apart from DCL, Keane's basically been the best of the old guard who were here last season for me anyway.
James Binkley, I don't think Wednesday played bad. I just thought the goal for quality was too big for them to compete. Gomez, Silky Tumuda, Rodriguez was fantastic. Huge confidence boost for everyone. Happy days in it. At the end of the day. Alejandro, I've got to give that one a shout. Alejandro Villamil again. Love that.
He agrees with me.
I'm giving that exactly. He agrees with Paul, and he's giving me props. I can't complain about that. What do you think of the new boys? Surely that's a good thing that we have good youth development. I was saying this earlier on, Charlie. Yeah, it's excellent that we do have lots of young lads coming through the academy, because I don't think we've had enough of this in recent years. And I'll be honest, I think that owes a lot to the bloated squad that we've got, where we're being forced to give minutes to fringe players who shouldn't really be around the club, and that's actually blocking the route into the squad for these young lads. I think once we start trimming the squad, get it down to a sort of 25-man squad, I think there might be more of a window of development for these players to get minutes in the first team, and hopefully that will see more youth players coming through on a regular basis, create more hunger, as Paul said before as well. I just think that'll be a really good bit of progress for us. I think that all comes from hopefully trimming the squad, and I think that'll come in the summer as well, when a few of the fringe players' contracts run out and a few others are on the way as well. That'll be really good to see next season, hopefully. They both have to play. I think that's a reference to Davis and Gomez. And Cam says, I trust Davis defensively more than Gomez. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. I think Davis, at least every now and then, does put a tackle in. I think I worry about Gomez sometimes. I think he just stands there and gets dribbled past, and I think that's obviously something we'll have to keep an eye on. If I think both will play, as Legend Alfie said before, I think that's something we will see. Both of them will play, even if it's one maybe off the bench. I'm not sure what the whole setup's going to be, but it could be a bit of an interesting one, considering that they have got quite a good midfield, Leicester. So we're going to have to try and deal with this one way or another. I think Carlo will do his best to try and set us up and make us hard to be bypassed, but it won't be easy at all. A few of the shouts. What have we got? What do you think of the two boys coming from the youth again, Charlie? I think it's just a really good. I think it's just it's good progress, isn't it? It's progress, isn't it?
It's not just good for the two lads to get on and experience it. It's, as we were mentioning earlier on, it's good for everyone else in the under-23s to think, right, that's what I can aspire to. If I play really, really well, then there's no reason why I can't make the step up and get a taste of the action in a cup game, and hopefully more than that long term, because chances are there was bound to be a really good player in our youth system who ends up leaving because he decides, right, there's just no way through for me here. If I want to kick on and look to become part of a first team, I'm going to have to do it somewhere else, because there's just no pathway here, and the first team coaches are not giving me enough of a look type thing. It doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter how well I play. Any report that goes back to a manager, he's just going to ignore it, because that's what's happened in the past. Koeman wasn't interested in the youth. Silva, not really.
Use it enough, no.
Didn't use it enough. Martinez used it a little bit, but I thought he used it more to save his own skin type thing. I remember a game where he brought on Callum Connolly to give him his debut, and that was all he wants to talk about in the post-match, in a performance we played really, really bad in. So I thought,
Southampton game, I remember that vividly, unfortunately, but yeah. I do remember these games. Tom Davies made his debut in that game as well.
Yeah, it's just the kids have got to have something to aspire to and think, right, the manager's paying attention to me, and there's the proof of it. There's proof that the manager.
On top of that, I think it's not just the manager's paying attention to me. This is the manager, Carlo Ancelotti, paying attention to me.
Yep.
It's not like some second-rate manager. It's an elite manager considering these kids. And that will give the kids in the academies a lot more hunger to succeed.
Yeah, I agree 100%. As I said before, you don't want a scenario where there's this really, really great footballer who's developing in our under-23 system, and he just decides, you know what, I'm not going to re-sign with these, even if they offer me something, because there's no point. I'm just going to be wasting my career because they're not going to step me up. I'm not going to get a look in, and if I go and drop down to a club that's further down the table or maybe in the Championship, it'll be better for me in the long term because at least I'll play first team football and get to play in front of a bigger audience who'll take notice of me. So hopefully if there is any budding superstars or just even really, really good professionals who we could maybe bring through, blood them, and then maybe sell them for a profit later on, hopefully that will, seeing those two young lads getting on today will make them think, right, this is the place where I want to be. I want to stay here long term and develop here.
Certainly, and on that note, Ryan Edwards, shout out to you, Don Carlo. Simple as, I mean, I think we can all agree with that one. He's doing an absolute bit. Legend Alfie again, an unpopular opinion. DCL didn't have a goal drought, just that he didn't have Dean and Hammers crossing into him. Absolutely, I mean, strikers are only as good as the service. Strikers are only as good as the service.
Yeah, it's not an unpopular opinion at all. It's spot on for me. I think DCL will start scoring again now that Dean's going to come back into the side and Rodriguez looks like he's coming into his top form. So fingers crossed. That's his longest goal drought he's going to go throughout the season over with, and it was only 6 games.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, he's still in double figures already. Let's not forget him. We haven't actually reached the halfway mark of our Premier League season, so you know it's promising for Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get injured, then I still think Calvert-Lewin will get well over 20 goals in the league this season. And if anyone would have said Calvert-Lewin's going to finish with between 20 and 25 goals, people would have laughed at you, most probably, or thought, no. Maybe 20. Yeah, maybe 20 goals in all competitions, but 20 goals in the league. Which, how many is he on now? Is he on 11 in the league? And now,
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, he got about 3 or 4 in the. He got the hat-trick in the League Cup, didn't he? And I think he got one in the.
The League Cup game.
West Ham. He got an hat-trick against West Ham, and he got that tonight, which that's 4 in the cup.
15,
and he's on
16. I think he's on about 16.
If he's on about 15 or 16, then he's probably going to break 20 in the next month or so, you'd think. And that'll take us until February, with still a big chunk of the season left. So I'm made up with Calvert-Lewin. Looks like he's undoubtedly our number 1 striker. We don't have to go and spend 40, 50 million on a new number 9 who's going to lead the line for years. We've already got him here. So this next striker we're going to bring through, he can just be a old hand who is going to be a super sub off the bench, or he can be a young kid who we want to groom and develop. We wanted to do that with Moise Kean, but it doesn't look like that's ever going to work. So we'll try it with someone else, whether it's that sexy lad from Bayern Munich or another signing. But Calvert-Lewin, I think we've got a legendary Everton number 9 in the making already here.
On that note, Eugene McGeever, do you think Everton will do any business in the January transfer window this month? I don't think so. I think we might get the odd loan, maybe Xerxes, as Paul was just saying. But as for actually parting with any transfer money, I don't think that's a go with this window. For FFP more than anything else?
Yeah, I don't see that. If we do spend any money on a permanent signing, it'll probably just be a youth player from a foreign country, who's going to go in the under-23s, or maybe even a player from the lower leagues like Branthwaite. Any player who comes in, unless it's that Xerxes, or unless they've got some player in the pipeline who we've not heard about in the media, I don't think anyone's going to come in and be part of the first team. I think any business we do is likely to just be a teenager who's going to just go in the youth setup, and hopefully we'll see them in the years to come.
Yeah, I think it's very promising, though. Of course, to see these kids coming through, and players like Branthwaite, who we did sign. Actually, Ryan Edwards does touch on that clean sheet for Branthwaite today. Should get some good game time with us. Rovers on the up, and of course Neil Warnock's kicking off because he should have been sent off apparently, which he shouldn't have been. But
Neil Warnock's a Brexit supporting knobhead, so if you're pissing him off, you're doing something right.
Well, there you go. I'm not going to disagree with that. James Rodriguez has been given the eToro Man of the Match. Do you agree? I think we can almost all agree on that one. I think he ran this game for us today. He just absolutely ran the whole show.
Yeah, and he was
excellent.
He was playing FIFA on amateur level, Rodriguez, tonight, wasn't he?
Was he just messing around, wasn't he? Charlie, will Dean play the next game? Yeah, I think he will. I think he was being, even if he has still got a bit of a niggle, I think he is being rested today, and I think he'll be back in.
I think that's what he's one who struggled against Rotherham, and I think he probably wasn't ready to go back in that soon. He his ankle really swelled up badly, didn't he? He posted the picture, and I think maybe that game against Rotherham came a couple of days early for him, so they weren't taking any chances tonight. Just let him have the rest. He's probably been training hard during the week, so they just told him probably just forget the cup game. You just focus on getting yourself 100% ready for Leicester on Wednesday. So he'll come back in, and it'll probably be Godfrey who drops out. But that's why I was really happy Godfrey played tonight, because any chance to give him minutes, give them to him, because he looks like an absolute
Godfrey's going to be a very good player for us in the coming years, I think.
Yeah.
James Brinkley, with a comment about developing youth into the first team. What about Ellis Sims? Tosun's obviously looks as though he might be on his way. No second choice striker. Why loan him out? I think, to be honest, James, it's a good development opportunity for him to move on to. Personally, I'd like the Championship teams to come in, but it looks as though it's League One he's gone to at Blackpool. And I'm not too sure. Maybe he's not quite ready for us to be a backup striker at this level just yet. I mean, he's still only 18, 19.
I think he just needs minutes. If he was our second choice striker between now and the end of the season, he wouldn't start any games, and he'd probably only be getting 5-10 minutes off the bench here and there. Whereas if he goes and starts 20 games, even if it's in League One, that's probably better for him. He needs to go and get out his comfort zone, because Sims has been at the club a good while now, basically being the star of the youth team, isn't he? He needs to go play for a club where he's kind of not being made a big fuss out of like he was in the under-23s. There's real pressure on him to score, because Blackpool are, I believe,
not far above relegation.
Yeah, but I knew they weren't anywhere near the playoffs, so they need to start winning some games to get themselves out of trouble.
I think 16th Blackpool. Yeah, 16th. So the 6 points above relegation at the moment.
Basically, they need a player to come into their side and start scoring goals for them, and that is a good pressure to put on Sims, because he's at the point in his career now where he kind of needs to be thrown in the deep end a bit and said, right, you need to do well here, because if you don't do well at this loan, then the future's bleak for you back at Everton. So hopefully he can take up the challenge and he can do really well and come back and get a better loan at a higher level club next season. Put them as the backup on the bench. I probably want to see that over. Maybe not far fetched, but it's probably just not what's best for him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think Carlos, knows what he's doing with the youth players as well. I know Brands does a lot of overseeing of that, but I'd like to think that he'd have a say in that as well.
As far as you know, James, I was talking to Stephen about this on the pre-match. I didn't. If Carlo mentioned it in his press conference yesterday, I might have missed it. Was Tosun injured at all? Is there any news why he wasn't in the squad?
I don't think he is injured. I'm not sure if he even mentioned it. So I reckon there may well be a move out of the club for him within the next week or so. Obviously, they've got the deadlines in a week's time.
If he's not injured, then that's only spells one thing, that he's going, because the same happened with Moise Keane. He was left out of the squad completely against West Ham, wasn't he? And then that's what everyone knew. That lad's off. So if Sutton doesn't come out, I don't know what Carlos said in the post-match press conference, and as far as I remember, as you touched on then, I don't think there was any mention of him pre-match about him being out injured. So if we'll find out in the next few hours or tomorrow or whenever what the situation is with Tosun, I just think his Everton career is over.
I think it's over already, to be quite fully honest.
Yeah. It's over in the sense that fans have made the mind up on him and there's no way back, but it might literally be over, as in he's probably played his last game for us.
A couple more shouts just before we finish. He's a manager I respect. I'm not an Everton fan, I'm a Rovers fan. See Everton more dangerous this season than for a long time I can remember. just a quality right winger, to which the game and Toffee has actually replied that Iwobi is class. Iwobi has been excellent this season when he's played, but I still think we need more cover in those positions. I think we need more than one backup player to cover those positions. We need versatility. I think we need players to. I think because of the Iwobi is, he can be inconsistent, and we need someone to blow hot while he's blowing cold, perhaps.
I tell you what, if he'd have been fit to play tonight, Iwobi would have had a field day against Sheffield there, because he's a player who likes to take a lot of touches and dribble with the ball and stop and look around. Against the Sheffield team that were just looking to sit in and not really cross the halfway line other than long ball in it, I think Iwobi would have been licking his lips playing against them tonight. But is he going to be fit for Wednesday, do you know, or is he
I'm not
out
too
for a
sure.
bit? Or?
I don't think he got mentioned in the presser either, to be honest. So we're
I
not
think
too
he
sure
was.
about that.
I think Carlo mentioned him as in he wouldn't be available. I don't think he said what was wrong with him. I don't know whether he's just under the weather or whether he's picked up a knock or what. But I hope Iwobi's back, because, as you said, he's in a really good run of form at the moment, and it looks like he's winning around a lot of doubters, which is good to see, because we spent a lot of money on him, and you don't want to see that money go to waste.
Of course not. The only thing we need to do is get a bit of squad depth. Agreed, Charlie. Little shelf and cheese at the end of the season, where we finish above the RS with a nice little FA Cup. Up the Toffees. It's one of them. I think let's not go too far, but that'd be an amazing season. Let's be honest. I don't think anyone has turned their nose with that. I mean, I think just the FA Cup would be the most important thing to get some silverware. I'd love to finish above that one, but win a trophy. That's what it's about. We keep progressing.
Yeah, I don't care what happens with them. Whether they go and win the league again, whether they finish top four, whether they don't finish top four, it's nothing that any Evertonian should be worrying about. Just think about Everton, because
finally,
when their season's not going well, like it isn't, then they always console themselves with the fact that Everton are more bothered about us than we are. It's like, no, do whatever you're doing over there. Just focus on Everton and put Liverpool out of your mind, people. It's not important.
Exactly, yeah. Good stuff. We'll finish on this note. Carlos Canoa. James is a monster. I think we can all agree. I think I'm going to give James my...
Very, very good-looking monster. Not most monsters are ugly, aren't they, or scary, but he's an absolutely beautiful monster, and I'm glad he's got
for centre-halves, I think.
Yeah.
But,
he's every defender's worst nightmare, isn't he, when he's in front of you doing his little tricks.
Tricks and flicks, yeah. Well, we'll finish up here anyway, and I'll finish by giving James my man of the match for this game. Paul, your man of the match?
Yeah, I'd give it to James, but I'd also give a special mention to Richarlison. I think there were some moments where you did get a bit frustrated with him, and he got frustrated with himself, but he got his goal that we wanted him to get. He never stopped asking for the ball. He put himself about. So James is the man of the match, and a mention to Richarlison as well, and hopefully he can get on a goal-scoring run now. Certainly,
yeah. So we'll leave it at that, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, thanks for coming in with all your comments. Thanks for you Colombianas from all over the world. People getting involved. It's great to see you tuning in. Hopefully it won't be long till we have another one of these shows, so definitely tune in again. And thank you guys for tuning in on the Toffee Blues, and we'll see you next time.